Give you also an update on another major crime story that we are following today. I'm talking about Bryan Kohberger, that suspect accused of killing 4 University of Idaho students last fall. Well, he was back in court today there in Moscow, Idaho. We're about to go out to Mills Hayes. She's standing by. She tweeted this today, though. Bryan Kohberger's defense team filed a motion to compel discovery of DNA discovered by the state. Defense called the witness, Steve Mercer, who says it is crucial defense has this information to know what experts to hire. The state says it is not relevant. So let's go out now to Mills Hayes outside the courthouse there in Latah County. Mills, good to see you. I know you've covered this story a lot. What went on in court today and why today?
Hey, Andrew. Well, today's hearing is all about the different motions that are filed by Kohberger's defense team and by state prosecutors. So there are 6 motions that the judge is set to rule on today. They haven't even finished the first motion. So things are moving very slow today. And right now, the judge is currently considering that first motion by Kohberger's defense team. They want to force the state to hand over any information they have on how they got to Kohberger being the primary suspect. So they want all of that DNA evidence. They brought up 4 separate witnesses today to testify how important getting all of that information is to the defense's case. And today, earlier, we saw Bryan Kohberger come into the courtroom today wearing a suit and tie, a little bit different than how we've seen him in past hearings where he's had a full jail suit on. But he's charged with the murder of 4 University of Idaho college students, and they were stabbed to death in their off-campus house in the early morning hours of November 13th. The house is currently boarded up and under 24-hour surveillance as students are coming back to campus for school to start soon. Law enforcement found a knife sheath or cover at the crime scene. Police say that they used investigative genetic genealogy to link DNA found on the knife cover to Kohberger. The FBI uploaded the DNA to a genetic genealogy service like Ancestry.com or 23andMe to identify possible family members of the suspect. That family tree led them to Kohberger. Kohberger's team filed that motion today to compel the state to hand over discovery from DNA evidence. The state argues that it's not relevant since they have DNA from Kohberger since he's been in custody that connects him to the murders too. A criminal defense attorney testified this information would be crucial to Kohberger's defense team and allow them to know what experts they may need for trial. The trial right now is scheduled for the beginning of October.
I don't believe in 2 months, in less than 2 months, that they're going to have a trial. I just don't see it. And furthermore, I think there's probably going to be more motions that are going to be coming, potentially regarding venue.
And that lawyer I spoke with says it may be difficult to get a fair trial for the defense team, considering here in Moscow, if it is here in this venue, it's very well known. But that lawyer also says that it may be difficult to get a fair trial anywhere across the country because of how much national attention this case has had. Andrew?
Yeah, Mills, it's so interesting. You and I have talked about this. We've also talked to a lot of legal experts about this case. We're going to do so a little bit later tonight, too, talking about the number of motions filed. And many of the legal analysts we've spoken with also agree with the one you spoke with as well, because of the number of motions filed, that they just don't think this trial is going to go right at the beginning of October like the judge had said. So that's something we got to watch for as well. Interesting to see him, though, in court, like you said, suit and tie, as he is facing these murder charges. So, Mills, you said this hearing is still going on. Any idea when it's going to wrap up?
Andrew, unfortunately, we don't know. I suspect that they'll go until at least 5 o'clock Pacific time. They could potentially go even further than that. We'll have to wait and see. But again, they're still on the very first motion. There are 6 in total. So even if we don't get to all of those today, they're going to have another hearing to go over all of those, which is going to push back the timeline even more, because right now we're almost to the end of August. We're about 6 to 8 weeks away from when the trial is supposed to begin anyway. And during that time, that's when when both the defense and the state needs to come together with certain experts that they want to call and testify, witnesses that they need. So it's really not a lot of time to have all of this on top of the motions that need to be ruled on as well. Andrew?
All right, Mills Hayes, great reporting there. We'll definitely be speaking again. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right, and like I said, we are going to be speaking in the 6 o'clock hour with some of our legal analysts about this, kind of the sides, the defense, the prosecution, jockeying over whether to share this DNA evidence, like Mills was talking about there, that was used to identify possible family members of the suspect that ultimately led to the capture of Bryan Kohberger. So right now, let's listen to some of the hearings from earlier today there in the courthouse in Latah County. And I believe this is really the first time we have seen at-length witnesses being called and offering testimony in relation to the Kohberger case. Let's listen.
Among people. Most of our DNA is identical, so looking at those bits are not going to tell you who's related to whom. They look at these microarrays specifically target the chunks of DNA that we know vary between or among individuals. And so that uses higher levels of DNA than you typically have for forensic purposes.
Do you mean more like when we talk about spinning the tumor swatting the tube, do you mean you have to have a lot of it to do this?
You have to have a fair amount of DNA to do a microarray.
What happens if you don't?
Then there is an alternative. There's an alternative method called whole genome sequencing, and then there's whole genome sequencing, and the specific way they go about it is called next generation sequencing. And that will actually work on lower levels of DNA. It will work on lower quality DNA, so DNA that might have been broken down because it's been exposed to the elements for a while. That will work better on DNA that's contaminated, so it might have bacterial DNA in it or fungal DNA in it. So that is an alternative approach to microarrays, but it's more labor intensive and it's more expensive.
So you need a microarray or other way that's more expensive and sounds like more issues with to get to something that you can put in the computer to find out who you're going to be.
Yes.
What is this?
So this is just kind of a teaching strategy just to show that we have 2 parents, 4 grandparents, 8 great-grandparents, and I've color-coded the grandparent lines to help us track how the matches fit in.
And when you do autosomal DNA, it's this group of people that you're drawing.
Those are the people who contributed the DNA in you, yes.
What do we have here?
So this is an outline showing how some of your DNA matches might fit into your tree. So you may have some second cousins or first cousins once removed or second cousins once removed who also took the DNA test and are in the same database as you, and they would share DNA with you and would be listed in your matches. And you can see in this diagram, I'm only showing 2 great-grandparent lines. There are actually 4. If the diagram gets too messy, I might try to add more. So the thing is, when you get these matches, the DNA company doesn't actually know how you're related to them. It just knows how much DNA you share with them. And so the DNA company is not going to tell you, this is your second cousin. It's just going to say this person shares so much DNA with you, and they could be your second cousin, but they might could be something else. And then it's up to the genealogist to essentially reverse engineer the tree based on the DNA matches.
You do that when you have to find out who this person is based on these various matches in different places.
Right.
Do you have experience as a genetic genealogist doing that, where you don't know who this person is, you've got to identify this person based on a kit?
Yes.
So what do you do?
So you will get a list of DNA matches from your testing company, and they are sorted, that list is sorted by how much DNA they share with you. So it's not necessarily sorted by how closely related those people are to you. You get this list, and sometimes they use their real names, the people in the list. Sometimes they use an alias. Depending on the database, you may or may not be able to see their email address. And some of them will have their own family trees linked to their DNA results because they're doing the same thing you are. They're trying to research their family trees. A lot of them won't. And for the people who don't, you have to try to figure out who they are, who their parents are, who their grandparents are, and build trees for them.
Time-consuming process.
It is time-consuming.
You talked to us about shared DNA.
Yes.
That it doesn't tell you how closely related some of this is.
Right, so we measure autosomal DNA in a unit called centimorgans, CENTIMORGANS. The more centimorgans you share with someone on average, the more closely you are related, but it's possible, for example, there's a range for most of these relationships. So it's actually possible that you could have a full first cousin who shares less DNA with you than a half first cousin. And that's one of the things that complicates the work of a genetic genealogist. We only have an approximate relationship from the centimorgan amount, not a hard and fast, this is definitely so-and-so relationship.
In your work, when you have your unidentified person and you put the profile in and receive matches in various places, you're looking at these centimorgans to try to get a clue. What do you do after you have this information that tells you about centimorgans?
So I have to essentially build trees for these matches. The first step in the process is to figure out how they are related to one another. Before I can figure out, for example, if I'm trying to help an adoptee find their biological parents. To figure out how they are related to their matches, first I have to figure out how the matches are related to one another. And then I kind of reverse engineer where my adoptee will fit into that family tree based on the DNA results.
What does that side tell you?
So we mentioned earlier one of the tools that I helped to develop for analyzing DNA results. This is a set of screenshots from this shared centimorgan tool. It's also sometimes called the shared centimorgan project tool. That's too many syllables. So what you do is you will type in the centimorgan amount for one of your matches. On the previous slide, the top match was 72 centimorgans. So if I were working that case, I would type in 72 centimorgans into this tool, and you get the diagram there where the possible relationships are highlighted. So your person of interest is your adoptee. In this tool, we'll highlight the possible relationships for a 72 centimorgan match. And if you count up all of the little highlighted boxes on there, there are 30 or 35 possible relationships for somebody who shares 72 centimorgans. And so this is the, sorry, I'm not supposed to talk.
What, I don't know what the statistic that just popped up is about. What is that?
Okay, so I mentioned that this is a statistical tool that's using probabilities, and so even though there are 30 or 35 possible relationships for a 72 centimorgan match, some of them are more likely statistically than others. And so this panel that is
Okay, so we have been watching this in the courtroom in Moscow, Idaho, as several motions have been filed in the Bryan Kohberger case, and you're listening into this witness talk about in her testimony how to analyze DNA, because remember, in the discovery process, the DNA that was used to nab Kohberger, well, the defense wants it. They want it shared with them, as this is supposed to go to trial beginning of October, but with all these motions, that could be pushed back. Remember, he's accused of stabbing to death those 4 University of Idaho students in their off-campus home last November.